In this video we are going to learn how to use the order by clause. So let's take a look. Crank up the Management Studio here, and now what we are going to do is this. Click Tables and click Table. Let's make a new table, so an ID. That will be an integer, and we are not going to allow nulls. Then right click it and choose it to be the primary key. There you go. The next one will be called department name, and that will be a variable character. And again, don't allow nulls. The next column will be salesperson, variable character, and again, don't allow nulls. And then we will also have, at this point, sales amount, and that'll be money, and don't allow nulls. Okay? There you go. So that's the basic structure of our little table. Alright, save all of that. Table 2, perfect. Close it. Alright, at this point, click on tables, right click, and then choose refresh. And go back to the table, right click, and then choose edit top 200 rows. And let's add some entries. So ID 1, department name will be, say, Sedan Sales, and salesperson will be John. Let me fix that spelling. I misspelled it a little. Sedan Sales, John, and his sales amount, say, will be 250,000 within 1 month. Okay. Alright, then 2, and then again Sedan Sales with the same department, and say we'll have Mary, and she will have sold 265 within 1 month. Alright, then 3, and again in Sedan Sales, say we will have Steve, and he'll sell, say, $249,000 in 1 month. Let's do one more. So we'll have again Sedan Sales, and say this will be, so we have John, Mary, Steve, and let's say we throw in Bob, and say he sells 276,000. Okay, worth of sedans within 1 month. I don't know whether that's a reasonable amount. They don't sell cars. It seems fairly reasonable, right? If you sell, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 cars in a month. All right, let's go on to 5, and let's make a new department called truck sales. And let's say there we have Bob S. Okay, just to differentiate from the other Bob, and say he sells $345,000. Okay, record number 6. Say we have again in truck sales some person such as, for example, I don't know, let's say Irwin. Okay, and say he sells $234,000. And say as a record number 7, say we have again the truck sales Josephine, and she sells $259,000 worth of trucks in a month. Okay, so these are our entries, and notice that we have groups, obviously, right? This is a group. We have these entries that belong to the sedan sales, and then we have these entries here that belong to truck sales. So clearly we have something to group by, which in this case is the department. Alright, perfect. So make sure it takes effect. Close that. And now we're going to make a query. So type use my dbase, like that. And now type select department. And unfortunately, IntelliSense doesn't always, suggest what to do. So department name from, and then type dbo.table2. And then once you add this, however, then it does. You see? There you go. So let's alias this as, you always have to keep practicing what you've learned previously. At each step, the query you build has to build on the previous one. So you can't just forget about the previous concepts. You got to keep adding to existing ones and building up your skill level so it's always growing. Okay? So select department name as, say, department, and let's see. What did I call that last column? Let me see. I don't remember. Sales amount. So let's do sales amount. And then sales amount, like that. We just want to capitalize it just so you can do that. Now hit enter, and that takes you down to a new line. You can do that also. There you go. Make sure you put a comma here so that the column names are separated with commas. And then also, no, let's leave it at that. Okay. So Let's just move this back, delete the comma. That'll do it for our purposes. Now if you just try to run this and execute it, it will show you all of the information, correct? There you go. So sedan sales, that amount, but notice that the person who's selling it is not shown here. I mean, obviously you could add that person. What we want, however, is to group by the department. So what we are going to do is this now. You're going to type group by and then department name like that. Alright, if you parse this, that seems to be okay, execute it, and it says dbo.table2.sales amount is invalid in the select list because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or the group by clause. Okay? So come back here, and now where it says sales amount, type sum like this. This is a function provided to us, and what it will do, because we are grouping, is add all of the sales amounts that we have per department. Okay? So if you execute this, take a look. Sedan sales, that amount. Truck sales, that amount in total. So what this confirms is that we are grouping by department. So the sedan sales department sold that amount, truck sales sold that amount. Notice that no individual entries are any longer visible. And even here, if you want now, imagine you had a lot of departments in different sales amounts and you want to group that data as we have, and then order further. So you can type now order by, say, sales amount like that, and type ascending like this. Right, so run this one. Now look very carefully at what will happen. And now you see it's the lower value that comes first, and the second total comes, the bigger total comes second. And further, we can refine things by doing this. If you want to group in order by, but first we select only records that match some minimum sales amount. Okay? So you can type where and then sales amount is greater than $250,000. Okay, so look very carefully. Right now the totals are 838 and a million, what is that, 40,000. So at this point, look very carefully at what will happen. Execute that. And notice sedan sales 541,000, truck sales 604, but this is only because this is more than $250,000. Okay, so this is not going to sum on every record. It will only sum those entries that exceed $250,000. There you go. All right, so that is it for this video. What might be helpful again is if you type the query one small chunk at a time, execute it one small chunk at a time. You make one modification one step at a time, execute the query. Another modification, execute the query. Build up your comprehension very gradually, so by the time you reach the end, you truly understand why the results are as they are displayed here. Alright, and that is it. So thanks very much, and I will see you in another vid.